Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session. The court is in session. Where did he go? First case is Christopher Living, cause number 23CCCR 0484. Mr. Living, why don't you come on up? Your full name is Christopher Living? How you doing, Mr. Living? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Living, you're represented by your attorney, Attorney Lindsay Scott. Attorney Scott, how are you doing?
Good night.
State is represented by in this case by Attorney Andrew Hubel. Attorney Hubel, how are you doing?
You well, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Scott, what is your announcement in Mr. Living's case?
We'd like to set the trial on
Give us a reset date.
February 19th.
Okay, this case will be set for trial February 19, 2024. Mr. Living, your attorney is going to get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. All right, you have a blessed day. Please stand over for them. Next, Archie Harvey, cause numbers 23CCCR 1788 and cause number 23CCCR 2581. Mr. Harvey, your full name is Archie Harvey. How you doing, Mr. Harvey? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Harvey. You're represented by your attorney, Attorney Nathan Reynolds. Attorney Reynolds, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge.
That's good. The state is represented by Haley Simmons. Ms. Simmons, how are you doing?
I'm good, Your Honor.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Reynolds, what is your announcement in Mr. Harvey's cases?
Judge, we're up here last month. He had a case for evading arrest, and he also had a pending case that had not been charged for possession of controlled substance.
Right.
I'd asked for a reset. I was appointed on the new case on December 28th. And I still hadn't, well, I don't think I've had enough time to
Get
discovery and get with the prosecutor as to a possible resolution of the case. I'd like for a regular reset.
Okay. Give us a reset date. This case will be reset to February 28th, 2024. Mr. Harvey, your attorney is going to get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Reynolds, just your only 2 cases?
Yes, sir. Judge.
You're free to go as well and you have a blessed day. Maybe I'm just. See.
I won't be. I'll do that. No one will be there. No one does. Okay. So I can check it. It's not one.
Heaven Andrus. This is cause number M331098, case is styled the state of Texas versus Heaven Andrews. Ms. Andrews, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Andrews?
Okay.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Andrews, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Todd LeBlanc. Attorney LeBlanc, how are you doing?
Doing good. Thank you.
That's it. Now, the state, again, is represented by Mr. Hubel, and the probation office is represented by Mr. Gary Gilliam. Mr. Gilliam, how are you doing?
Fine, sir. Thank you.
Now, state, do we have a resolution to this case?
Yes, Your Honor. We are going to plead this case.
Okay, y'all did the plea papers already?
No,
Y'all
we
gonna,
just came up with, I wanted to make sure that's proper procedure with the motion to revoke.
Yeah.
And yes, Judge, I believe you have it worked out.
okay, I'll just put it on a hold, give you opportunity to fill out the plea papers.
Okay.
Okay. And see. Hold on a minute. Mr. Taylor? Yeah, we're gonna do, Jadarian O'Brien Taylor. Cause number M 333-310. Mr. Taylor, your full name is Jadarian O'Brien Taylor. How you doing, Mr. Taylor? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Taylor, you're represented by your attorney, Attorney Dustin Galmore. And Mr. Galmore, how are you doing?
Good, Judge, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Galmore, what is your announcement?
Judge, we're asking for a brief extension of time for maybe 30 to 45 days in order for Ms. Bigger to finish some financial obligations to community service.
Okay, you have, State, do you have any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, give us a 30-day reset on, Jadarian O'Brien Taylor on the MTRP docket, the first case. Mr. Mr. Taylor, your attorney is gonna get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you're free to go. You have a blessed day, and Mr. Galmore, you can get your reset. Once you get your reset, you're free to go as well. You said it's February 14th? Okay, this is cause number M 333-218, case of style of state of Texas versus Paul Thompson III. Mr. Thompson, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Thompson?
Doing well in yourself.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Thompson. You're represented by your attorney, Attorney Tom Burbank. Attorney Burbank, how are you doing? And the state is represented by Haley Simmons. Simmons, how are you doing?
I'm good, Judge. How are you?
That, I'm doing fine. Mr. Burbank, what is your announcement in Mr. Thompson's case?
We'd ask you a question on trial about
Reset it for trial. Give us a trial date.
February 19th.
Okay, this case will be reset to February 19, 2024 for trial. Mr. Thompson, you're gonna get your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Mr. Burbank, I think this is your only case. You're free to go as well. You have a blessed day.
Thank you, may I be excused?
Yes.
Okay, you get your reset. That's it, thank you.
Vasquez.
I think that's the one you changed.
Hmm?
I think I got what we needed.
Bunch of money for that. Jaime Vital Cisneros. Court is in session and calls number 23 CCCR 0376. Case is style of state of Texas versus Jaime Vital Cisneros. Mr. Cisneros speaks Spanish. However, we have our Spanish interpreter. We have Ms. Jennifer Raji, who is our interpreter. Ms. Raji, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, Judge.
You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Raji?
Good, Judge. So,
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ask Mr. Cisneros if his full name is Jaime Vital Cisneros.
Vital.
Vital Cisneros? Okay. Mr. Cisneros, Vital Cisneros, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to, well, let me do this. Did I swear you in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Cisneros, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, you may put your hand down. Now, Mr. Cisneros, ask him how he's doing.
And
He's doing good? That's good. Now, Mr. Cisneros is represented in this case by his attorney, Attorney Walter Windler. Attorney Windler, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Doing fine? That's good. Mr. Windler, do you waive a record in Mr. Vital Cisneros case?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Vital Cisneros, I have before me a document that is titled Information. In this information that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office, it alleges that you, Jaime Vital Cisneros, on or about December 22nd of 2022, while you are operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
yes,
Yeah, okay. And Mr. Vital Cisneros, how do you plead? Not guilty, guilty, or no contest? Okay. Mr. Cisneros, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Mr. Cisneros, Vital Cisneros, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. You have to erase, you gotta check the box that says Class A misdemeanor. No, you have a DWI, that's the Class B. They don't have a box for it. You just have to erase the other, the one that you had checked previously. Okay, thank you. Mr. Cisneros, do you recognize this document? Now, the offense that you've been charged with is a Class A misdemeanor. The range of punishment for a Class A misdemeanor is a person can be sentenced from 0 days to 365 days in the county jail. They can be given a fine from $0 to $4,000. or you could be given both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment for a Class A misdemeanor? Okay. At the bottom of this document, there's a paragraph that is titled Citizenship. And are these your initials next to this paragraph? And this paragraph states that if you are not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty and no contendere may result in your deportation. Exclusion from the country or denial of naturalization under federal law. Do you understand this paragraph? And do you first of all, you are not a U.S. citizen, is that correct? Okay, and you are a citizen of Mexico?
Yes.
Yes. Now, do you still want to go forward with your plea bargain? I also have a document that is titled for all foreign nationals, except those for mandatory notification countries. And this document actually is in Spanish. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on this document? And to the question in this document that states, do you want us to notify your consular officers at this time? You circled no, is that correct? Now, Mr. Windler, did you advise your client as to the consequences of pleading guilty of no contest as required by this case of Padilla versus Kentucky?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. I also have on page 2 of this document, Mr. Vital Cisneros, a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document? And on page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes.
And on this document, he signed Jaime Vital. Is that correct? And this, ask him if he normally signs his signature that way.
Yes.
Okay. On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature, well, ask Mr. Vital, does he recognize this document? This is a trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal.
Yes.
He does. And ask Mr. Vital if this is his signature on the line that's titled defendant. There are 2 boxes checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yeah.
Oops. Thank you. I also have a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Vital Cisneros, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line as title defendant?
Yeah.
Mr. Vital Cisneros, before you signed all of these documents that I just showed you, did someone go over these documents with you in Spanish? And did you understand everything that they went over?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1
Yes,
into
ma'am.
evidence? Any objections?
No objections.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted into evidence. Mr. Windler, you've advised and counsel Mr. Vital Cisneros. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Judge.
Mr. Vital Cisneros, your attorney, Mr. Windler, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Vital Cisneros, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The agreement is for a plea of guilty. This state is offering 180 days probated over 15 months. With a $500 fine, 50 hours community service, the installation of an interlock device, and DWI for senior conditions of probation.
Okay. Mr. Vital Cisneros, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in jail. But you will not be required to serve any time in jail because you'll be placed on probation for 15 months. During the 15-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a $500 fine. You'll be required to pay a DPS fine of $100. You'll be required to pay court costs of $377. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month. You'll be required to pay a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will be required to pay a reimbursement fee of $15. You will also be required to pay the DWI initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the amount that you will be required to pay each month, is $151 a month. Will you be able to pay the $151 each month? Okay. You will also be required to perform 50 hours of community service. Install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. Attend and complete a DWI education class. Have have an alcohol assessment. And you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and condition of DWI probation. Mr. Vital Cisneros, do you understand the state's offer? And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? Okay, Mrs. Vital Cisneros, I will accept your plea of guilty. And Mr. Cisneros, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement. Mr. Cisneros, this will conclude your case. You're gonna stand next to your attorney, follow the directions of the clerk. Once you finish following of the court coordinator, once you finish following the directions of the coordinator and the bailiff, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. You can come on up. Ms. Andrus? Evan Andrus? This is cause number M331098. The case is styled the State of Texas versus Evan Andrus. Ms. Andrus, is that your full name? Ms. Andrus, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Andrus, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Andrus, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Andrus?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Ms. Andrus. You're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Tyler LeBlanc. Attorney LeBlanc, how are you doing?
Good, good.
Ms. Andrus, I have before me a document. Okay, yeah. I have before me a document that is titled Second Amended Motion to Revoke Probation. Ms. Andrus, well, Mr. LeBlanc, do you waive a record in Ms. Andrus's case?
We do, Your Honor.
And Ms. Andrus, she was sworn in, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. LeBlanc, the state has amended this, the state has did what we call the trial amendment. And so the state has just amended this motion today. Do you waive any time in which to prepare for this motion?
We do, Your Honor. We have no objection.
You have no objection to the motion? Okay. Now, Ms. Andrus, the state's second amended motion to revoke probation states as follows. It states that you, Evan Andrus, the defendant in this case, was tried in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, on May 31st of 2023 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance. And that on that date, the judge of said court found the evidence was sufficient beyond a reasonable doubt to support a finding of guilt and assess punishment at a term of 365 days confinement in the Jefferson County Jail in accordance with the provisions of Article 42.12 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure of the state of Texas, and said confinement was probated for a period of 2 years. In this motion, there are 6 allegations. State is abandoning any of the allegations, or they are proceeding on each one?
State is proceeding on allegation 1, abandoning it.
Okay. Now, Ms. Andrus, the state is proceeding on one of the 6 allegations. It's proceeding on allegation number 1. And there are abandoning allegations 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, allegation number 1 alleges that you, Evan Andrus, failed to report to the Jefferson County Community Supervision and Correction Department as directed by the court on June 15 of 2023 in violation of condition 4 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
That's true.
Are you pleading true to allegation number 1 freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true because it is true?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Andrus. I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea of Non-Innocence. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials on the line next to a box that's checked MTRP, which means motion to revoke probation, true to allegation number 1. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Andrews, before you signed and initialed these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes,
to the best of your knowledge?
yes, sir.
And Ms. Andrews, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
And state, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
We have no
Any-
objection.
No objection, State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. But just for the record, the court will also note that on this second amended motion to revoke probation, that there are 2 sets of initials. First set of initials is AH, and that's Andrew Hubel, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And the other one is TL as Todd LeBlanc, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, Mr. LeBlanc, you've advised and counseled Ms. Andrews. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
And Ms. Andrews, your attorney, Mr. LeBlanc, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Ms. Andrews, I will accept your plea of true to allegations number 1. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to revoke your unadjudicated probation, and your probation is hereby revoked. I will also find that your plea and waivers was freely and voluntarily given. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
For a plea of true, the allegation 1 in the MTRP, the state is offering 20 days jail. This is a time served plea. Court could also be taxed and retired on this case.
Ms. Andrews, the state is offering that you serve 20 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 20 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for the time that you've already served. The court costs in this case will be taxed and retired. That simply means that you will not be able to pay, you're required to pay any court costs because the time that you spent in jail is taxed and retired. The court is going to tax and retire all fines, fees, and costs as well. Now, Mr. Andrews, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the court is going to follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Andrews, you're going to stand in front of our court coordinator, follow her directions and the bailiff's directions. Once you finish following their directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And as of the day, you're no longer on this probation.
Yes, sir.
All right, please stand over here. And Mr. LeBlanc, you'll be free to go as well and you have a blessed day. And
Please have a seat and I'll call you back up. Mr. Lamont, you don't have to wait to have a seat.
this will conclude the calling of the court's announcement docket, the court's motion to revoke probation docket. All 2 dockets were scheduled on today at 9 a.m. In County Court at Law number 2. Judge Terrence L. Holmes presiding. Everyone, please have a blessed day. And you're free to go.
I'm getting ready to add something.